What is good, everybody? Welcome to another episode. The Commanders versus the Bills. That's the matchup on Sunday. And to be honest, guys, I don't know what to expect. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? Is it going to be close? I don't really know what to expect from this matchup, Washington versus the Bills. Now, we're going to go over a few things that we do know. We do know that the Commanders do have some injuries that they're dealing with. For example, Logan Thomas is out. So I expect a healthy dose of Cole Turner and John Bates. John Bates played well last game. John Bates is somebody that I've not really been focusing on all season. But John Bates has shown that, hey, he's a capable wide receiver. He's possibly the best blocker we have. Logan Thomas might be the best all-around tight end that we have, but I love me some Cole Turner, and I'm hoping for a Cole Turner semi-breakout game. Now, Curtis Samuel, he's dealing with an injury right now. He's questionable. Cameron Curl is questionable. For the Bills on the other side, they have no players injured. What a luxury to have a team where you have no players injured. It's pretty amazing. So, I'll be going back and forth with both teams and really talking about what do we know. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills had a great rookie draft, drafting guys like Dalton Kincaid, who we better watch out for, okay? To me, I felt he was the best tight end in the draft, and he goes to Buffalo. Osiris Torrance, the guard, and so many other players that they drafted or that are solid. Now, for the Commanders, they had a pretty good draft. Emmanuel Forbes is making waves right now, and I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Emmanuel Forbes. Could this be a game where he gets another pick? I'm excited for it. Emmanuel Forbes, he's a guy that's going to gamble, but he's a guy that's a playmaker. We are getting Quan Martin back from injury, so he's going to help to solidify that secondary. And then, those are our top two guys. We have other guys that we drafted. I kind of wanted to highlight the top two guys that we did draft. Now, the Commanders are 2-0, coming off of a 20-6 win in week 1 versus the Cardinals, and then a 35-33 nail-biter versus the Broncos last week in Denver. Huge road win in Denver. Now you get to host one of the better teams in the NFL with one of the most elite QBs still in the game. I don't care what you have to say, whether you like or hate Josh Allen, he's still elite. Whether he's struggling this season or not, he is still an elite QB, and he's possibly going to be the best QB we play this season. It's Patrick Mahomes and it's Josh Allen. For me, some people put Joe Burrow over Josh Allen, but I think that Josh Allen is as elite as they come. So this is a game where I'm worried. If I told you I wasn't worried, I'd be lying. This is a legit team, a legit threat for the Commanders in the Bills. Now, let's take a deeper look at the Bills. And, we're going to look at what they've done this season and what the Commanders have done. Now, we all know that the Bills lost that first game to the Jets, where Josh Allen had 4 turnovers. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 turnovers. He's kind of shored things up in this next game. So for the season, Josh Allen is at 510 yards passing, and then he also has 4 touchdowns, 3 INTs, and he has been sacked 7 times. So what does that tell you? That defenses are going after him, and then they're kind of maybe a little bit shaky in the offensive line. What do the Commanders do well? They get after the quarterback. So when you're looking at the Commanders with just the matchup of, are they getting to people? It doesn't matter whether it's Dobbs, whether it's Russell Wilson. In a nutshell, are they getting to people? So Sam Howell right now is at 501 yards passing. He has 3 touchdowns, and he has 1 INT. For whatever it's worth, Sam Howell has outplayed Josh Allen so far. And I'm hoping that Sam Howell outplays Josh Allen come Sunday. If that happens, the Commanders win. And I'm excited for that. Now, let's look at what the defense have done for the Commanders. The defense has 10 sacks on the season. 10 sacks. This has to be ranked somewhere high in the entire NFL. They had a lot of sacks this last game, and when you look at the sacks, it's kind of spread right now. You have Montez Sweat, who's having an unbelievable season right now with 3 sacks, and I'm hoping that he adds on to that when he plays Buffalo. So if you're telling me that Buffalo has given up 7 sacks and the Commanders have gotten 10 sacks, it just bodes well for what the Commanders do best. So you can expect anywhere from 3 to 5 sacks for the Commanders. Why? Because Buffalo is averaging 3.5 sacks that they give up. So it's within the scope of, man, maybe they can do this. But even though they're working on things to make sure that Josh Allen is sacked less, Chase Young came out, balled out last week. Chase Young is hungry, and he's ready to attack. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of our defense. Right now, Jamie Davis has a sack. Montez Sweat has 3 sacks. Daron Payne has 1 sack. Jonathan Allen has 1 sack. And these 2 guys are hungry. You can see a potential where they come out and get more sacks. So I'm excited for that. Casey Toohill has a sack. James Smith-Williams has a sack. Chase Young has 1.5 sacks, and that's in 1 game. He's hungry right now. And just imagine Sweat coming from one side, Chase coming from one side. These 2 guys, I expect to have the biggest season this year. The 2 guys in the middle, they're going to have a good season, but those guys have gotten paid. So Chase is playing for his NFL life, and so is Montez Sweat. These 2 guys are going to get paid, whether the Commanders can pay both or none or whatever. We will cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Right now, we're focused on winning, and we're focused on attack mode. Abdullah Anderson has a half a sack as well, so that's 10 sacks, and I'm expecting these guys to get more sacks. Now, back to Buffalo. What do they do well? They run the ball pretty well. 280 yards for the season so far, led by James Cook, who has 169 yards rushing. He's averaging a whopping 5.8 yards per carry. So this is something that the Commanders have to really focus on. How can they limit James Cook from being successful? You got to get after this guy. I don't want this guy averaging 84.5 yards rushing a game. Let's try to limit James Cook to about 65 to 70 yards. That's what I want to see. And I don't want to see him score either. I don't want to see him be a factor in the receiving game. When you look at James Cook, he's been targeted 10 times this year. He's caught 8 for 53. And I think that's when James Cook is at his best. When he's in the passing game, when you have him in space. But I can just say this. James Cook has looked phenomenal. Look out for guys like Damian Harris and Latavius Murray, who's starting to have more of a role. He's more of that bigger back, more of that goal line type guy. They want to use Josh Allen less as a rusher. Okay, through 2 games, Josh Allen has ran the ball 9 times for 43 yards, and he has 0 touchdowns. And the touchdowns is what makes Josh Allen great. But Josh Allen has already fumbled twice already, and he's lost 1 of those 2 fumbles. So with him getting sacked 7 times and losing 2 fumbles and having 3 picks, they really want to conserve and protect Josh Allen. Now, he's going to have to use his legs to kind of get away from the pass rush of our magnificent front 4. But at the end of the day, I want to see the guys in the back end make some plays. Now, what do the Bills do well? These guys have Stephon Diggs. He's elite, okay? 20 targets in the season, 17 receptions for 168 yards and a score. Gabe Davis had a great game last week to bring up his total to 8 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 score. You know who scares me out of this bunch in the receiving? Obviously, you have Diggs, right? But the struggle for them is, who is that second option? Is it Gabe Davis? Is it Dalton Kincaid? Is it Dawson Knox? Is it Khalil Shakir? Is it James Cook? Can the supporting cast help Stephon Diggs? Diggs is going to get his. It doesn't matter who the Commanders put on Diggs, Diggs will get his. Because when he's targeted, he catches a high amount of the targets that he's targeting. Now, Diggs only has 1 touchdown on the season. So let's just hope that he doesn't score against the Commanders. Now, what do the Commanders do well? They run the ball pretty well. They have 214 rushing yards for the season, led by Brian Robinson Jr., who's averaging 73 yards per game. This guy has 3 touchdowns on the season, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. Brian Robinson has looked phenomenal so far this season. And I'm hoping for a big, big game out of Brian Robinson Jr. Now, the receiving game, we're led by Terry McLaurin, but when you look at the receiving yards, it's spread. It's spread. Out of the 500 passing yards that Sam Howell has, he's averaging like about 250 passing yards per game, which is solid. It's pretty solid. But on the flip side, Terry has 85. Curtis Samuel has 73. Logan Thomas has 65. Jahan Dotson has 60. You have 3 guys that could possibly end up with 3 or 4 guys that can end up with 600 to 700 yards receiving each. And if that happens and they continue to spread the ball, it's more successful for the Commanders. Forget Terry getting another 1,000-yard season. If he does, great, amazing. But at the end of the day, you want to see them spread the ball. Now they're throwing the screens to the running backs. That's something that the Commanders do really well. Antonio Gibson with 54 receiving yards so far this year, off of just 4 receptions. He's averaging 13.5 yards per reception. So that's great. Antonio Gibson, 3 receptions for 49 yards. John Bates, 46 yards. So they're spreading the ball. Guys like Cole Turner. I think the Commanders did something great last week to where 9 different wide receivers or 9 different receivers caught a pass. That's amazing. So Sam Howell is spreading the ball. He's feeding the guy that's open. I'm expecting a big game out of Sam Howell. This game will really tell where Sam Howell is as a QB, where he is with his development, where he is with his growth. Win or lose, I want to see how Sam Howell reacts to a pretty good Buffalo defense. Even though Buffalo is struggling to get to the quarterback right now, that does not mean that they can't get to Sam Howell. Now, the Commanders do give up a lot of sacks. Sam Howell has been sacked 10 times. He's been sacked 10 times. So I'm just saying, Buffalo only has 3 sacks on the season. The Commanders has given up 10 sacks. What is it? Is it that the Buffalo's pass rush is struggling without Von Miller, or is it that the Commanders' offensive line is just so bad? Something has to give between these 2 different matchups. Buffalo's pass rush versus Washington's protection. I'm interested to see what happens there. Will Sam Howell get another passing touchdown this game? Will Brian Robinson get 100-yard rushing? I mean, how do the Commanders score? Do they get some takeaways? With every game this year, the Commanders have won the turnover margin. And that's a beautiful thing. Especially last week where they didn't turn over the ball not one time. They were able to get 2 takeaways from Denver. As long as the Commanders stay in the positive, in the turnover and, touchdown ratio, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. I'm sorry, takeaway and turnover ratio. I want to see them get more takeaways, and I want to see Sam Howell take care of the ball. And I think he did a fair job last week. He did fumble, but he didn't lose the fumble. So some things to clean up. Now, on the defensive side, right, we know that the Commanders bring the pressure, right? But it's like, what are guys like Cody Barton and, Jamin Davis going to do? I think both guys have been solid this season. They definitely could be better. Cody Barton flies to the ball. It's 15 sacks so far. 15 tackles so far. But I'm so impressed with Cameron Curl, leading the team with 19 tackles. He's been everywhere. And then there could be situations where you see more defensive backs than linebackers. It's just what the Commanders do. They play more defensive backs than linebackers anyways. But what if they have a possible all defensive backs back there? They have the personnel to do it. Jack Del Rio dials up crazy things, so I'm not surprised there. I'm looking for guys like Derek Forrest to step his game up. I'm looking for guys like Montez Sweat, not only to continue to tackle, but let's get Cameron Crowe an interception or a force a fumble or something like that. I want to see Cameron Crowe get an interception. It's been a while. He hasn't gotten one since his rookie season. I know he's going to be hungry, looking for that interception that he couldn't get last year. Maybe this is the time that he actually does it. It'll be nice to get one of our defensive, either our defensive tackle or our defensive ends to get an interception. I want to see something crazy. I want to see a pick six. I want to see something special out of the defense to really give us a chance to win this game. We have to play a perfect game because when you're playing Buffalo, even though they're struggling right now, they are still the cream of the crop. They are a team that we are trying to be. We want to be where Buffalo is, right? So you got to beat Buffalo. You got to learn some things from Buffalo. Take care of the ball. Get takeaways, right? Try to get a defensive score if you can. Create havoc. Make Josh Allen uncomfortable. Let Diggs get his, but contain everybody else. Those are my keys to the game. And if we do those simple things, those little intricate things, we can come out with a victory. It is going to be a stadium that has been sold out once again. Second home game of the season, sold out. The energy of the new ownership and just having pretty much a brand new team. It's a brand new team, a brand new fire. And I'm looking forward to FedEx Field fans coming out, tailgating, noise. I mean, it's going to be crazy. And if the team and the crowd can meet at the same level, the same energy, the vibes in the building, it could be something special. I'm hoping the Commanders pull this off. If they pull this thing off, man, I'm going to come back Monday with one of the wildest, most energetic, most craziest Victory Mondays you guys have ever seen from me. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please like, please subscribe, and please share. And I'm going to catch you guys on that next episode. I'm out. Talking Commanders with Manny. Let's get it.